Doug, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's fantastic to be here. Dragons march on says it all right there, Webby.
There's nothing like the postseason.
There isn't, and especially when you advance to national championship play.
Absolutely. So, first of all, we talked a little bit about the women at the beginning of the show. What's life like on the bubble for administrators and all the things that have to be negotiated and all the logistics? What's life like kind of on that seesaw of are we in or are we out?
You know, it's almost, notice I said almost, as painful for the administration as it is for the student athletes and the coaches. Obviously, they have a little bit different view of what's on the line, but for us, it just puts everything into pause. We think we have a chance. We have some ideas that we might advance, and you really can't do anything until you know. You can try and plan out what you need to do, but to actually push over some of the dominoes to get things going, you can't do that until you find out.
And what are some of those dominoes, those things that go on behind the scenes that get our student athletes there and ready to go for national competitions?
Well, when you think about behind the scenes, I mean, one of the significant conversations we had last week was, how do we do our selection show? Yeah, as we look at it, do we do a live selection show? Do we invite other people in? Do we just do it in a private gathering for a team? So lots of conversations. Ultimately, they came down to we are student athlete centered and having some conversations with the student athletes about what they preferred. So that's just one little piece about actually figuring out how we're going to find out. But then it's who's going where, because there are multiple championships going on this weekend. We've got women's basketball in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. You've got track and field down in Pittsburgh, Kansas. And you've got wrestling over in Iowa. So you've got different championships. How do you get your administrators there? Who's going where? Who's doing what? And then just pulling all the little fun pieces together.
Because it's more than just the competition. There's meetings beforehand to kind of go through practicing protocol. I mean, there's a lot that goes around that a lot of people don't know about when you actually get there and have to go through the process.
Yep. Yesterday we got on the phone at about 1 o'clock for 50 minutes with the NCAA representatives and all of the coaches and administrators that are in this portion of the NCAA tournament and talked about practice times, where we're assigned for hotels, what our travel plans are, what other entities are we bringing with us, if you're bringing a band, if you're bringing a cheer squad, all of those things, and trying to get everybody on the same page. And so then you've got all those logistics on top of it as well.
And how many band members is a topic that comes up sometimes. There's a lot of opportunities that come up with national attention. What are some that you like to focus on when you have national competitions going on in the Dragons?
Well, when we think about our student athletes advancing into national championship play competition, obviously it is one of the pinnacles of their career. I mean, you spend your entire career trying to get into a place to be the best you can be so you can win a championship, and now we're into that place with some of our student athletes. So you are constantly thinking about, how do we make it special for our student athletes? How do we make sure that the reality is the greatest that it can possibly be so that they have an experience for a lifetime? So that's where you start thinking about it at, and then you just kind of move down the line from there.
And what other opportunities to engage not just the student athletes, but the fans, alumni that tie into an opportunity like this?
Well, it kind of depends with your administrative staff of whether they're chicken or not. So let's talk about women's basketball. We went and we put together, somebody did a lot of work to pull together not an elite eight, but who was going to get in our region. Right. Then it's the debate, do we put that out there? Do we not put that out there? Because there's always some risk when you start to talk about, as an administration, what you think is going to happen. So you have to evaluate your risk assessment about what you're willing to say, what you're not willing to say, and then figure out how to grow that fan interest and excitement. And again, part of it is making those student athletes feel special. So it was interesting on the selection show on Sunday night, the debate behind the scenes. Do we put stuff out before what we think is going to happen, or do we wait till we know what's going to happen and then try and blow some things up? So it was awfully fun just watching the little video that you guys shot during the selection show and the reaction of our team, how many people watched that, and trying to take those little pieces and blow them up and create as much interest and excitement for our fan base and for our family members of the players that are going as we possibly can.
And finally, we could tell you're fired up about it. We brought the red jacket into Dragons Live today.
It's Dragons march on, baby.
How fun is it for you to see all of their hard work finally pay off and get to this level?
Words can't describe it, Webby. When you think about our student athletes that are going to be competing this weekend and next weekend, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of the pinnacles of their career. Same thing with the coaches. They spend a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears going into what they are doing. It's one of their passions in life. And as we try and help them, achieve what their dreams are, and to actually see it begin to happen, to actually be going down to Pittsburgh, Kansas to watch Brian Huber, who legitimately has a chance to win a national championship in the long jump, to watch our women's basketball team, to watch Zach on the wrestling match. Words can't describe the emotion I have when it comes out, because it is something that's so special that everyone has worked so hard for.
Well, thank you for all you've done for that and getting us all in the right places for this weekend and next weekend. And thanks for joining us here on Dragons Live.
Thanks for having me, and everybody cheer on the Dragons. It's Dragons March On.